It's Tuesday, February 16th, 2021. Before we get started today, please give this video a thumbs up and support this channel by subscribing. The best way you can support this channel, support this message, is by subscribing. And hit that bell notification down below so that you are alerted with the newest video. So without further ado, let's get started. I want to start today. I was watching an interview this morning on Stansberry Research, and they had Rob Kiyosaki on as a special guest. And it was a really good interview. If you get a few minutes, check it out. But Rob Kiyosaki said something that really stunned me. In the interview, he said that he had called up a large bullion dealer, and he mentions the bullion dealer on the show. I won't mention it here. Watch the interview. All of you know who it is. And he calls up this bullion dealer, and he buys all of their silver, all of it, buys it all. And so I thought that was pretty shocking that somebody can just call up and just buy out a bullion dealer just like that. Rob Kiyosaki, multi-millionaire, obviously a brilliant guy, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, been buying gold and silver since the early 70s. He's had quite a life from the Vietnam War and then getting into real estate and becoming a multi-millionaire. And he's a huge buyer of gold and silver, but he literally backed up the truck and bought up all of their silver. And look, I can't even think of a time in U.S. history that's more important to be owning gold, to be owning silver. This stuff is critical. This is a hard, tangible asset that is so undervalued. This stuff is on sale. Even though premiums are up, and even though it's harder and harder to get, this stuff is still available. You can still get it. It's still, in my opinion, extremely cheap. And it's going to be one of the most important financial assets you can have, in my opinion. People have been contacting me over the last few days about a recommendation where to purchase gold and silver. As most of you know, I have a link down below, SD Bullion. That's where I've been purchasing all of my gold, all of my silver over the last 2 years. SD Bullion, link down below. I don't care if you buy gold or silver. It doesn't matter. I hope that if you do buy it, you buy from somebody reputable, because there have been a lot of cases on the internet where people have been getting ripped off. There's some great companies out there, but there are some really shady ones. So make sure you're dealing with somebody reputable. SD Bullion, link down below. They've been fantastic. But I think that there's never been a more important time to be owning precious metals. I think that it's imperative now that you protect your wealth, that you diversify, and that you get out of this system. The system is collapsing. So I wanted to start out with that today, because it's so important. And with everything we see coming, and with all this massive debt creation, all this stimulus, this stuff right here is going to be absolutely one of the most important assets you can have in your portfolio. And the thing is, it is cheap. Anybody can buy this. Cut out some lattes, cut out going to dinner, cut out the weekend trip to Vegas, make a little sacrifice, and you can own this stuff. You know, when you get your debts manageable, or you get your debts completely paid off, when you have, a few months of food and water put away, and when you have some of this stuff right here, some silver or some gold, when you have some of this put in a place, a safe place that you can get to, I promise every one of you, you're going to sleep much better at night. When your debts are paid down and you're holding stuff like this, I can promise every one of you watching, you will all sleep better at night. So I want to switch gears a little bit here and share a conversation that I had with a buddy of mine yesterday who's in law enforcement. He's with the Sheriff's Department, a high-ranking member in the Sheriff's Department. And he was just sharing with me some of the things that he's seeing. Increase in suicide, domestic disputes, drug use, suicide by cops, anxiety, etc. And he made a really good point. He said that he believes we're seeing a lot of this because we have never been in a place like this financially as a nation. People have never been in a place like this. They've never been in this circumstance, and they don't know how to deal with it. So a lot of people are just getting depressed, and they're committing suicide. People are turning to drugs, alcohol. They're getting suicidal. And I thought that was a really, really good point, because people have never been here before. They've never had to deal with these kind of financial situations. And as a nation, we've been entitled, and we've had decades without a depression. And as a nation that's been entitled, people now who are under pressure, whose lifestyles are changing, people who've lost a job and now can't find another job, people who can't feed their kids, they don't know what to do. And so they're turning to suicide, they're turning to drugs. And so, I thought that was a really, really good point. And I think it's very true. And this country now is coming into a place it's never been. And people have been entitled, and people have gotten soft, and opportunity and wealth doesn't exist like it once did. And this is, turning people's lives upside down. And so I wanted to share that with you. And it's another reminder of why we need to be calling our family members, our friends, our members of our churches, and we need to be checking on people, making sure they're okay if they need anything. Because there is a lot of anxiety out there, a lot of depression, a lot of drug use. People that you think are doing okay aren't. And so just because everything looks good on the outside doesn't mean it's so good on the inside. So we really need to, be networking with our friends and family members and reaching out, making sure everybody is okay. Because we don't want to see, listen, nothing is worth taking your own life. Nothing is worth getting into drugs. Nothing is worth, assaulting your wife or family member. It's not worth it. Okay. We're going to get through this. We are going to get through this. This is why I make these videos. I continue to make these videos to make sure that the people out there who have the ability to prepare and you have the means to prepare, that you're doing so, because you do not want to wind up on the wrong side of this, because we are going to see a lot of desperation in this country, and it's going to be a result of this economy and the financial situations that people have gotten themselves into. Let's talk about this today. The 10-year bond yield at 1.31%. What does this mean, and what is this telling us? Please comment down below. What does this mean? What is this telling us? It wasn't that long ago, 10-year bond yield was like 0.56. Now we're at 1.31. So I do believe that this could have an effect now on mortgage rates, maybe interest rates on your credit card and other debts. The interest rates on these debts could start to go up a little bit. But what does it really mean? We're seeing cash leaving the 10-year bond market, and where's it going? Look at the stock market today, just closed about an hour and a half ago. Dow Jones up around 64 points. The markets were just pretty much flat across the board. So where is the cash going? Are people just pulling cash out, putting it on the sidelines, and just waiting to see what's happening? A lot of people are anticipating a crash. And so is this a sign that people are cashing out of their 10-year bonds and holding that cash on the side? What do you think? Please comment down below. Where's the money going and why? CNBC, consumers expected to have spent a lot more in January, helped by stimulus checks. This economy is on life support, and it is being kept alive by stimulus checks. There would be no retail spending hardly at all if it wasn't for stimulus checks. Retail sales expected to show an increase of 1.2% when the data is released tomorrow. And does it really matter? Because this economy cannot stand on its own 2 feet. This economy cannot function on its own. The economy is not growing. The economy is being kept alive on life support because it is being injected with stimulus checks. And without those injections, without those stimulus checks, there would be no increase in retail sales and the economy would be slipping even faster. But look, it's inevitable. They are only going to be able to do this for so long. But remember, while they keep the economy alive with stimulus checks, they've got to create a lot of debt. They are printing a lot of cash, devaluing your dollar bills as we speak. And this is going to have a catastrophic effect on your purchasing power and on the U.S. economy. The U.S. economy is done. It is dying, and it is going to a place that it has never been before. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. economy is crashing. Just take a look around. The stock market might be up, but that's because it is being juiced. It is being juiced. And when that no longer works, how are they going to keep the stock market up? And when everybody's running to the exits and trying to get out, where are the buyers going to be? The hedge today, this is extremely dangerous. 4.4 million people without power as Texas blackouts spread again. Rolling blackouts morph into down cellular networks. So not just in Texas, but I think that there's like 13 states where we're seeing power outages now and cellular networks down. So again, it's another reminder of why you need to be preparing, not just financially, but do you have that food and water put away? Do you have security put away? Do you have a plan? Most people don't. And so you don't want to land up being like one of these people because it may not be a snowstorm. What if it's a grid that goes down? What if it's a cyber attack? What if it's an earthquake? What if it's an economic crash? You could wake up tomorrow and see the Dow Jones down 5,000 points. What would you do if you woke up to that? What would you do if you woke up your pension was wiped out? You'd be waking up into a crisis. And if you don't have a plan, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. Just like many people in Texas now and other states who are in very, very big trouble because their water doesn't work, they don't have food, they can't stay warm. So this is all a reminder about preparation. Is the stock market going to crash? Yes, I believe it is. You know, this has been a 12-year bull market. We're in a time now where IPOs more than double on the first day of trading. Look at the margin debt that is sitting out there. Look at the amount of zombie companies out there. Look at how these markets have been juiced by the Fed. The Fed wasn't juicing these markets right now. Where would all this be? Interest rates at zero. Where would all this be if we actually had interest rates? Of course, the market is going to crash because this is unsustainable and it is going to come to an end. You know, if you made money in these markets, God bless you. If you've made money in Bitcoin, God bless you. I'm happy for anybody that's having success. Anybody that can make money and have success, God bless all of you. I am 100% happy for all of you. But I hope that you're pulling some of those profits out and you're buying real assets. You know, because I know that most people believe it's different this time. Isn't that what they always say? There can be no crash. There can be no correction. Things can only go up because it's different this time. There's no threat. There's no chance of collapse. There's going to be no major correction because it's different this time. When it crashes, and I don't mean if, I mean when it crashes, people are not going to know what hit them. It's going to feel like they got hit by a freight train. They're not going to know what to do. And there'll be people that say, don't worry, don't sell, don't rush to the exits, hang in there because it always comes back. It'll be back in a few years. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be much different this time. This collapse is going to be catastrophic. Much of the stock market is not going to come back. Remember, as I said earlier, look at the amount. There's a large percentage of zombie companies in these markets. Many of these companies did corporate buybacks, pumping up their own stock prices. Many companies dependent on these massive injections and juicing of the stock market, 0% interest rates. When reality comes back to the real world here, many of these companies will not exist. And that means if you're holding stocks in these companies, they're never going to come back. Your stocks will never come back. Many of these companies will never come back, and they should never come back, and they shouldn't even exist today. Again, they're propped up by these injections by the Fed. They're propped up with 0% interest rates. They're propped up with corporate buybacks. It's a complete Ponzi scheme, a complete illusion filled with magic tricks, and people are going to wake up and find out they've been tricked, fooled, and bamboozled. You will not be one of these people. And again, if you're making money in these markets, that's fine. Just make sure you're protecting yourselves. Enjoy the stability. Again, Dow Jones up 64 points today. Life is good, my friends, right? Everything is okay. There's no chance of anything happening. So to those people out there, enjoy the stability while it lasts, because the day of reckoning is coming to Wall Street. And it is going to be a living nightmare for so many people when they wake up and find out they've been wiped out, when they wake up and find out that their pensions have been crushed. They no longer exist. They're wiped out. People are not going to know what to do. So I'm going to wrap it up right there today. Remember, make sure you're protecting your wealth, make sure that you're diversifying, and make sure that you're getting out of the system, because the system is collapsing right before your very eyes. And if you're one of these people who've been gambling in the stock market and making money, God bless you. I'm truly happy for you. I'm happy for anybody with success. But please make sure you're protecting that wealth, protecting that success with some of this, some gold, some silver, because there's going to come a time, and I don't think it's that far away, that you're going to try to get out of these markets and it's going to be too late. Do the smart thing. Pull some of those profits and buy some real hard tangible assets. Hold some real money like this right here. An ounce of silver, an ounce of gold. This is the stuff that's going to matter when things collapse. There will not be enough exits to get out when this Titanic goes down. Make sure you don't get caught, because as many say, it's different this time. Yeah, it is going to be different this time, because this time it's not going to come back like it did last time. God bless every one of you. Talk to all of you soon. Make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with everybody. Talk to you soon.